Um,
Yep. Take it away, Hillary.
all right, thank you. Pursuant to the recently adopted amendments to the Illinois Open Meeting Act included in Public Act 101-0640, public bodies may, in certain circumstances, hold entirely virtual public meetings without a quorum physically present in any one location. Governor Pritzker's Executive Order 2022-01 has extended this provision through February 6, 2022. As co-chair of the Council for Inclusion and Community, I have made the determination that it is not practical nor prudent to meet in person at this time. Accordingly, this meeting of the Council for Inclusion and Community is being conducted virtually with members participating through the Zoom webinar platform. Assistant Village Manager Sharon Tanner is in the Village Hall conference room as required by the Open Meetings Act. We have Raphael yet? Okay.
I don't see him. Let me just check the participants, see if maybe nope, he is not there. He may just be making his way in.
All right, well, let's just keep rolling with this sort of housekeeping stuff. I would like to call the meeting to order. May I please have a roll call? And Sharon, if you don't mind, would you resend the meeting information to Raphael? I just got a text.
Sure, I'll do that. And Emily, while I do that, would you please call the roll?
Of course. Okay, so Member Scott.
Present.
Hello. We're waiting on Raphael, so I will do absent until he is here. Member Bjork.
Here.
Okay, Evans. Sakura.
Here.
Yes, okay, make sure. Member Flanagan.
Oh, present.
Okay. Reverend Kirk, she here? No? Okay. Molly.
Here.
Moses. No, Mizell.
Here.
I see you. Emily Robbins, you are here as well. Hello, welcome. Gary Rubin, you are here. And Young.
Here.
Great, sounds good. Thanks. And Sharon and I are here as well, as you can see. So thank you.
Thank you, Sharon and Emily, and also for all of you for being here. Another housekeeping thing, the first item on the agenda is consideration of the January, is that right? That's not the right date. It's gotta be the November meeting.
Oh, November. Oh, you're right.
December.
We didn't.
No, we had no meet. Yeah, it's November. Yeah.
Why don't we table the meeting minutes until next meeting? We met, I believe, in December. I want to double check the date of that. So we could just table the meeting minutes until next meeting.
Okay. That's better because we should all at least glance at them before we approve them.
Yeah.
So thank you. Sorry about that. Do we have Raphael yet?
I resent it to him. He may just be making his way in.
Okay. Let's move ahead then with public comment. This is the time in the meeting when a member of the public may comment on something that is not on the agenda. I'll ask Sharon to read any public comments that were submitted prior to the meeting. After that, I'll ask if any members of the public would like to comment on something that is not on the agenda. And if you would like to make a comment about something that is listed on the agenda, please hold your comment until that time. If a member of the public would like to make a comment now on something that is not on the agenda, please press the raise hand button on your computer if you are joining the meeting online, or *9 if you are joining by phone. The village's public comment rules limit comments to 3 minutes. Sharon, any comments?
I am checking our email right now. I don't see any hands raised, and there are no comments that were submitted by email. So we have no comments. Raphael, good evening.
Raphael, next time, I'm going to skip all that stuff and just breeze in at 5:35. You're here just in time.
Just make it as difficult as possible for you, Hillary, on the first meeting. That was my goal, and I must goal.
You're such a difficult guy. Anyhow, your timing is perfect because we're going to do introductions. So I'm going to start. I'm Hillary Scott. Obviously, I co-chair this committee with Raphael. We're new, like so new that it's not even official yet. And so there's, as you can see, going to be some hiccups and a lot of learning on the job. So I'm just asking you all for grace. Tonight, we're going to begin with introductions for everyone. Unfortunately, Reverend Catrice is not here today. She had a family emergency, but she will be on in March. And so we'll get her intro then and maybe do brief intros for everyone else then. But because we have two other new members and we have two new co-chairs, it just feels like a good time to sort of go around and introduce ourselves. So as I said, I'm Hillary. Depending on how you look at it, I've lived in Glencoe for a little over 10 years or for my whole life. I graduated from Central School in 1992. My parents lived in the house I grew up in until my husband and I moved into it in 2012. We have 2 teenage boys and 2 dogs. Most of my work over the past 20 years has been in the nonprofit sector. Most recently, I was teaching at Lake Forest College. Like so many people, I decided to take a pause from that in the end of 2021. So this is my full-time job, co-chairing this committee. And I'm really, really passionate about racial justice and equity issues. So that's perfect for me. It's truly a privilege, and I'm really grateful to all of you for joining us in this work. And Raphael, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm Raphael Guzman. I am married with a teenage son at New Trier and a daughter at West School. We moved to Glencoe. It'll be 6 years in December, I believe. Originally from Moline, Illinois, the Quad Cities. Decided to go to law school, and then I told my family I'd move back when the Cubs won the World Series, thinking that would never happen. In the interim, got married and moved to Glencoe. I'm an attorney during the day, and I don't know what else. For those that are new to the committee, by all means, welcome. First of all, second of all, any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me via email or cell. But I'm excited to co-chair the committee. I think that having more than one chair will help progress this committee in a more manner that will be beneficial to everyone. So thank you so much for coming. That's all I got.
Maybe what we'll do is the person speaking will call on the next person. So Raphael, why don't you pick someone, or I can pick someone, and then that person will pick the next person, and we can just take it from there.
I will go to Amy, just so we can go. Yeah, I'll pick Amy. Sorry, Amy.
My pleasure. So good evening. Let me make sure everybody can hear me. I hope. Anyway, I want to second or third or fourth the motion of welcome to our newest members, and happy to have Raphael and Hillary co-chairing, and looking forward to, going forward into this new year. I'm a longstanding Glencoe resident. I'll play on Hillary's little hiccup. So I've been back here 30 years, but then I lived here 25 years as a child and growing up. So I've got a bunch of years of mass there. Obviously, I love it here, but I want to see us be the best town that we can be. And there's lots of opportunity for some improvement there. And I want to be part of it. My career, my profession has been all around human resources. And so this topic is near and dear to the work I've done and what I'm passionate about. We have 2 kids who grew up here and are living in Deerfield, and 4 grandchildren now who spend a lot of time here as well as in Deerfield. And it's a lot of fun to take them to do things that we all remember doing. It's a great joy. So I hope we will make some real inroads this year with what's going on. So welcome. Oh, sorry. So how about John? My neighbor behind me. To look out the window. Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm John Bjork. I've lived in Glencoe since April of 2018, so coming up on 4 years now. I'll echo Amy in saying thank you to Hillary and Raphael for agreeing to be the chairs. We all really appreciate you doing that, and welcome to our new members as well. We're really excited to get to know you in the months ahead. Little bit about me. I have 2 daughters, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. So I will be the person who frequently has to shut my camera off when my children come in and ask for a snack during the meetings. So I apologize for that in advance. My day job is I'm a lawyer downtown, and originally from a small town in northern Michigan. Far northern Michigan. So if you hear a little Canadian in my voice, that's that's due to my accent. It comes through every now and again. But this committee is really great. Love working on it, and as I said, I look forward to getting to know our new members. And I will pass the baton to Gary.
Good evening. I've had the pleasure of meeting, at least briefly, our new members previously, but I will just say that, sorry about that. You're hearing one of the 2 creatures barking in the background. Naturally, they picked this time to do so. I am a lawyer by trade. I am a village trustee and the liaison to this committee and a committee member, and this has been a topic of interest to me through my firm and otherwise. And so I'm thrilled to be working with this group. And with that, I will pick Sakura for 500. And I hope I pronounced your name correct.
Thank you, Gary. So hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Sakura Evans, and I was introduced to this council by my neighbor, Anise Moses, who does not appear to be here right now. So I'll have to follow up with her, but she's my next door neighbor. And we had some really good chats about the council. And so she suggested I submit an application. And so I'm happy to join you all. Despite being born in Minnesota, we left so early, I don't remember it. I consider myself a native of California. I grew up in Southern California in Orange County. I've lived in all over Southern California. As an adult, was in the Bay Area. We actually moved here from the Bay Area. But in between all of that, I spent almost 7 years in the Southeast for my graduate degrees. So I was in Georgia and North Carolina. But my husband, Jim, is actually from Naperville, which he doesn't like me to tell people that because he says that a lot of people don't like Naperville, but it seems nice to me. So we decided to move back here about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And we just got here about 8 months ago. So we're very new transplants. Absolutely love it. I was out shoveling snow right before I came into this meeting. So I'm not afraid or being scared off by the winter storms. I'm quite enjoying it. Looking forward to making some snow angels. So yeah, we are new to Glencoe. We live right next to Anise. We don't have any children. We have 3 dogs and they're all rescues, and you'll probably hear them barking as well. So thanks for having me, and I look forward to getting to know all of you better. So I will throw it to, I don't know anyone. So how about Mr. Robert Young?
Thank you. Yeah, I want to welcome you and the other new members. Nice to have you on board. Congratulations to our 2 new co-chairs. We will have lived in Glencoe 40 years on February the 27th. Our daughter was just turning 1 when we moved here. We also have a son. For 37 or 38 of the 40 years, I've been a member of a caucus, advisory council, and I believe it's been 5 years since I've been on this committee. Love Glencoe. and look forward to our continuing work. Um, The council has a very important mission. Thank you.
Bob, you have to pick
And
someone.
I will call on Chief Lewandowski.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Kerry Lewandowski. I've worked in Glencoe for 8 years now. I'm the Director of Public Safety. As most of you know, our department does police and fire services for the village. I've had the pleasure of working with this group since its inception. And the reason I'm involved in this is because the public safety officers are basically, for all intents and purposes, we are the face of village government. So we have a lot of interactions with our residents and our business community. So obviously inclusion and community is very important to us. We work very hard to be part of the community and be very productive and try to have as many positive relationships as we can. So that's my involvement with this group, and it's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to many more years and months of being part of the group. So thank you. And I guess I will turn it over to Margot.
Thanks, Carrie. Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Margot Flanagan. I am really happy to be here with you guys, and thank you, Hillary and Raphael, for taking the helm, and welcome to our committee, ladies. I'm happy to have you with us. I have been a resident of Glencoe for around 23 years. I was first appointed to the Human Relations Forum, former iteration of this group, about 18 years ago, 17 years ago, and have been a member of the various different committees since then. I've done a lot of other work in the village as far as working with village organizations and the school board and other caucus and things like that. I have a 22-year-old daughter who's a senior at the University of Denver. And word is she's not going to be moving back to Chicago like she promised me 4 years ago when she left. But that'll be okay. It's a beautiful town, and this is a wonderful group. And I'm really excited that we're working on this mission of making it a more inclusive and welcoming community. So I'm looking forward to what we do next. And Vivek, would you like to go next?
Sure. I am Vivek Mali. We have lived here in Glencoe since 2011. So I guess it's going to be about 11 years this year. I am an attorney during the day. We have one son that is at Central School in the 6th grade. And I joined this committee, I believe in June, at the same time as Raphael and John. And by the way, congratulations, Raphael and Hillary. Thanks for taking the helm, and welcome to our new members.
Thanks, Vivek. I think we have only Emily left. Is that right?
Emily
Robbins.
Hi, I'm Emily Robbins. I've lived in Glencoe now for 7 years, but also lived here during high school. Amy, I was in Dave's class. So small world. My husband and I have 2 daughters who are 6 and 3, like you, John. So they're not here tonight, but they will frequently be interrupting me or crying, standing outside the door. So sorry in advance for that. I came to the town hall in the fall at Writers Theater. And after that, got interested in the council, which I didn't know existed prior to that. And Brooke Lawler from the Flower Shop was the one who suggested I apply. So I'm really happy to be here and look forward to working with all of you.
And then our two, the women behind the curtain, Sharon and Emily, the other Emily. Would you guys also introduce yourselves?
Sure. Emily, would you like to go first?
Yeah, congratulations, Hillary and Raphael, and welcome to our new 2 members. It's great to see familiar faces as well. I'm the administrative intern for the village manager's office. I've been with you guys, oh my gosh, for almost a year, which is crazy. Time flies. I know. And I think I had my first meeting here in April. So it's been really amazing to meet all of you. I'm a graduate student at UIC, my final semester. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. Sharon, would you like to go?
Sure. My name is Sharon Tanner. I'm the Assistant Village Manager. I'm the staff liaison to this group. And so Emily and I work together to help produce your meeting materials, help facilitate meetings, serve as a resource to other areas of the village, village departments, or talking through villages policies, procedures, and the like. So Emily and I do not vote on things that are before the council, which is typically just our meeting minutes and motions to adjourn. But nonetheless, we're here to provide support to this group. I mentioned I'm the assistant village manager, so some major areas of our operations that I'm involved in. I oversee our human resources function. I work closely with our communications function, our IT team, our business services team, and work on a number of different special projects throughout the organization. So certainly concepts related to inclusion, to building community, really touch every area of our operations. I'm a newish parent. My daughter was born last summer. She's 7 months old yesterday, growing like crazy. And outside of my day job here, I enjoy running. That's a little bit about me. Welcome to our new members. Thank you to Hillary and Raphael.
Thank you, Sharon. The next item on our agenda is the February 8th Town Hall, which is next week. And Raphael, you're going to take it from here, yeah?
Yes. Myself, Anise, Bob, and John have been organizing this. Bob and Anise have been doing phenomenal work. I've been absent the last week, and I apologize for that. I had a family emergency that took me out of town for longer than I anticipated, but it's on for next week. For the new members, one of you was that we're actually the last one we did, but the topic that we're discussing is that of access for people of physical limitations and or handicaps. We have confirmed we have 3 speakers. We also have an independent moderator. That was brought up and it was put to the attention to us as a subcommittee to have that in order to have someone who is knowledgeable in the area and has experience as a moderator versus one of us just trying to run it. It was originally scheduled to be at Writers Theater again, but because of COVID and I forgot what variant we're on now. Anyway, it's all going to be via virtual. So flyers were picked up. I'm going to have another meeting with the subcommittee. I have to get an email out. I know Anise comes back, I believe, tomorrow or Friday, in order to continue with the spreading the word of it. I do know that Bob was kind enough to pick up the flyer so he can speak more to the other people that we've contacted. I'm hoping that because this is at home at an hour that people should be home from work, we'll have a decent attendance. Also, because of through the process of learning through past experience, it is a public forum. We will be presenting the points by each speaker, and there will be an opportunity for public comments and or questions. During that time period, similar to the meetings that we have here, we will be limiting the questions, our statements to the people in attendance to 3 minutes. While I don't expect anyone to come with a preset questions already written, they are more than welcome to submit questions before. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to have any type of, or we're going to try not to have any type of side discussions or any way in which that we're not focusing on the whole point of being there. Everyone is volunteering their time. The moderator, all three speakers. We want to be cognizant of that and really focus on what the topic is. Bob, if you could say something about maybe the people that we've contacted to promote the event, I would greatly appreciate that.
Sure. No, I think we have done a pretty thorough job. And I first have to congratulate the village. I think the postings that the village have put up on its website as well as Facebook have been very well written, and I think have done an excellent job. We have distributed posters throughout downtown Glencoe to District 35, to religious institutions. So I think we have gotten the word out. I am curious, I assume that Sharon and or Emily would know about this. How many people have signed up for the Zoom presentation? Do we have a number?
I thought there might be a question about that. So I did check this morning. It was around 30. Just eyeballing it, it looked like most of them were unique email addresses. There may have been a couple of duplicate entries in there. So I'd say around 30, which is, I think, very, very good.
And that includes the members, I assume, of the council.
Sorry, no, it does not. Those are members of the public who have registered to attend. You
Okay.
all should have each gotten a panelist invitation. If you would like it top of email, we can resend it to you shortly before the day of the town hall.
Good. So 30 people have signed up thus far.
Yep, about 30.
Good.
And if I may to just add, Bob mentioned the village's marketing efforts. I did want to make mention that in addition to the social media posts, we've had it programmed in our social media feeds for the last several weeks. We've been running it in our weekly e-news, and we've had it on our website as well. So we've been doing quite a bit on the communications front. And kudos to Emily Spangler for putting that together.
I was just going to add too, we also have a downtown sign, a big one, a kiosk that you'll probably see in the corner of Park and Vernon, I believe. And that, yeah, down there that got put up last week or this week. Time is whatever. And downtown as well, there's a small sign being printed out. So we are really running it to make sure you guys get everything you want.
Yeah, and again, I congratulate the village. I think you've done a really good job.
So basically spread the word out. Obviously we can't bribe people, but if you please tell your neighbors, tell whoever you can, if they want more explanation as to what the topic is. The flyer and gives a really good brief explanation as to what the point is and what the goal to have this discussion. What we're trying to do is to be as welcoming and inclusive as a community as possible. And this topic came up in our discussions because a category that you don't often talk about or we don't often discuss is that of people with physical limitations, whether that be because of a handicap or because of age or fill in the blank. It was something that I personally had never really thought about, even though you know, I have my father's in his mid 80s now, but it was just an interesting point of discussion. I think that we as a committee are doing a service to anyone that's going to attend by just providing a perspective that isn't always voiced or isn't always given much attention. So again, please tell your neighbors, your friends, or I mean, I'm not asking you guys to hunt people down at the Grand or at hometown and start harassing folks, but definitely spread the word so we can have a good attendance. And as of right now, everything looks phenomenal. And I give a sincere and large thank you to both Bob and Anise John for helping out in every way that they have. And that's pretty much all I have regarding the meeting for next week. If you have anything else, Bob or John.
So Raphael, oh, sorry, it's Amy. Could I just, one thing that I did last time that was really simple is we have a block party, kind of a listing in our neighborhood of like a couple big streets near us. And I just sent a note to that, I've got that list, right, of, I don't know, 60 people or something. And I just shot the invite out to them. And I think it was really helpful just with one little stroke of not much, I didn't have to think too much about it. If somebody moved, well, oh, well, it's not the end of the world. But if anybody else has something similar where you have some block information, that's an easy way to let others know. So.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would add to that is if you haven't shared on Facebook or other social media information about the town hall meeting, I would urge you to do so. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay.
Bob or Raphael, have we sent an email message to the folks that we have email addresses from due to the last town hall? I think we had, I thought we had a list of attendees. I'm wondering if it might make sense for us to, if it, just send them a message saying, here's this town hall, if you're interested in attending with the link.
Agreed.
I can speak to that. Unfortunately, we were not able to recover the list of email addresses from attendees who attended the last one. However, so what we did in order to be able to better capture that this time, so we could send a follow-up survey to folks, Hillary, I don't want to steal your thunder on that, we set it up in Zoom to require registration. So that way we've got an email address contact and we can manage it more effectively that way.
Okay. And Sharon, are you talking about, because I know we had a
Sharon,
sign up list at the last one. Is that what you're referring to, or is it something?
Yes.
I have that.
Okay. Oh,
So Sharon, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I have that list.
Okay.
So
Send it to me.
there's a different way of answering that question. I mean, we have the emails. Are we permitted to send it out to them? Just some blind copy? Can I do that?
If you could please send it to me, that way the communication flows through the village.
Perfect. I will do that. Right now it is a picture of the sheet. But if I have a little time in the morning, which I think I might, I'll load them into Excel and send them to you.
That's okay. We can do that on our end, Hillary. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Raphael, thank you. It's such a bummer that Anise isn't here, although she's taking a well-deserved vacation. But there's been 2 times that she's really, she works so hard on behalf of the committee, but there have been 2 times that she's really been shining. And in both of those cases, she's been missing from the meeting when people are kind of singing her praises. The first was Anise also writes the Getting to Know the Heart of Glencoe column. And when our village manager, Phil, was on a call, he noted that it had significantly increased traffic to our website, which is hugely important. As Emily, our new Emily Robbins, pointed out, we're not as well known, I think, as we should be, especially given the important work that we're doing. And so every little thing that raises our profile is helpful. And Anise's column has certainly done that. And she wasn't here when he mentioned it. And now, once again, she's missing, having done really a lot of work on behalf of this town hall, together with Bob and Raphael, who I know agree. So, and also the other Emily. This Emily thing is going to drive me bonkers. We're going to have to come up with a system. Anyway. Okay, so my only comments or questions about the town hall, if nobody else has anything that they want to add. The first is, as Sharon alluded to, Anise had asked me after the September town hall to create a feedback form, which I did. It's gone through a couple drafts, and then I shared it with Amy and Margot, who offered some feedback. This is a shortcoming of mine with the technology. Those of you who don't know me will learn this very quickly. I'm sort of a traitor to my generation. I don't really know how to even use my computer very well, but I can share my screen. I'm not sure that I can make this document much larger. So we'll see. I mean, I know it can be done. I just don't know if I can do it. So let me put it here. Well, first, hold on. Before I do that, let me just say it's still a draft, so that we're seeking your input on it. And it's also a little deceiving because ultimately it's going to be loaded into SurveyMonkey, as Sharon suggested. And so there's things like, you can the format is off. So I'm going to share it and walk you through it very quickly. And then if any of you have any feedback, for some reason, oh my gosh, you guys, I actually know how, I have been teaching online for 2 years. I know how to share my screen, but for some reason, it's not coming up. All right, let's try this. I don't want to share sound. I want to share my screen. All right, are you guys seeing this little black box? It's gone to night mode. Over here, Glencoe Council.
Off-centered.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
And I'm gonna try and make it bigger. I've been playing with the view, but it's not being very friendly to me. That's as big as I can make it. So I apologize to make you squint at your screen, but as you'll see, it's pretty straightforward. For questions, where are my notes? For questions 1 and 2, we'll actually do a scale. So rather than saying, did you find the speakers engaging? Like, yes, no, we can say like on a scale of 1 to 10, did you find the speakers engaging? And that will give us a little bit more meaningful feedback. So that for questions 1 and 2, that will be the, sorry, I'm so sorry. I have a carpool texting me on my screen right now. I am also a mom, and though I have teenagers who shouldn't be banging on the door, they do have access to cell phones and they just text all the time. So I apologize, I'm lost. We'll use the scale for questions 1 and 2, and then for questions 3 through 8, all of those will have a text box. And one of the concerns, which I understand in looking at this, was that there's not a lot of room to write anything, but obviously in a digital format, if you're given a text box, though we can restrict the number of characters, and we may choose to do that for our own sanity, it will be obviously a much larger space for comment than you can see here. So now, while I've been rambling and answering my son's text, hopefully you've had a minute to look at these questions. Is there any feedback? Would anyone like to offer any suggestions or comments? Or
I think it's a great job. I like it a lot. I don't know what else we could put besides. Those are pretty thorough questions for me, Hillary. I don't know what else to add.
Yeah,
my
great
God.
job. Thank you.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, I think it's, Hillary, I think it's very good, but maybe it could just be sent to the members so they could read it and just give them a day to give you
guys,
feedback.
I'm
Yeah.
learning as we go here, just as I said. I just made it bigger, and now you can't see the bottom questions, but I can toggle it, I think. Any hands raised? Sharon, you can probably see better than I. Anyone? Bob has something. What do you want to say, Bob?
No, I just getting a drink from my wife. Thank you very much.
What's that?
I was just getting a drink from my wife. Thank you very much.
I need a drink too, Bob. Could you come here? Okay.
I'll be right over.
Thank you. Anyone? Yeah.
So a quick question, would it be worth including a question that asks how did you hear about this? Just as a way to figure out the avenues that are bringing people in, just, what works, what doesn't. And then again, I'm not quite sure if you said this is going to be digital or not, but it's always a good idea to just always put your website or your social or whatever somewhere. And maybe I missed it, but that would be my only comments.
Thank you. I'm going to stop this share for now. So yes, was that, I couldn't see, but I think it was Sakura. Am I right? Yes. Getting your voices memorized. Yes, the website is actually on the bottom of this sheet, but I cut it off when I was trying to make it bigger. And that suggestion about how you came to be there, I think is really relevant. And so that's absolutely something that we should add. Anyone else? Comments, questions, suggestions? go
I
in
think it
there.
looks great, Hillary. The only one thing I might suggest is on the first two, just adding, please explain, if you want more than a yes or no to the first two questions, if you want a little narrative, but.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. And then I'm going to put Amy on the spot and say, Amy had made, I thought, what was a helpful suggestion about having it be more of a rating scale. And this is like a now you guys are going to have a cage match. See,
No.
like,
No, we won't. No, we won't. It's totally fine. I think both are appropriate. We just wanted some way, because occasionally people will kind of go on, right, for a while. And at the end, somebody's looking at that like, was that a plus? Was that a minus? So I think knowing the rating and then, right, have a line or two for explain, if you have something to share, explain. I think that's perfect. That's great. I just,
We can
think
set that
that-
up for SurveyMonkey.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll do both.
yeah,
Does everyone
fine.
else agree that's
No.
acceptable?
yes. Oh,
For the new members as well as everyone else, I think the biggest challenge I've seen over the years is getting the attention of the residents of Glencoe. That's a big challenge.
Yeah.
That has, I think, been obviously compounded by the pandemic. I would like to see us make, hopefully sometime in the not too distant future, make presentations to churches, synagogues, the school about the work that we're doing. Perhaps you could ask your church or synagogue if we could make a Zoom presentation at one of their meetings. I think that would be very, very helpful. But you all know there's been a collapse in local journalism. No one reads local papers anymore. I mean, despite, as I've said a million times, the excellent job the village does in getting the word out in a variety of media, getting the attention of people is exceedingly difficult. So any thoughts that you have would be most welcome. It's a big challenge, big challenge.
I agree with you, Bob, about the sort of visibility issue. And all of us in different ways have touched on it over the last year or so since we've been working together. And what I would say is I'm sort of hopping off this agenda item, but I want to come back to it. So just as a direct response to you, Bob, the thought for tonight's meeting is that we're going to stick to the town hall because we're in the middle of things and we have to present it next week and we want to present it next week. So that's been the focus of tonight. But beginning in March, Raphael and I are of the view that we need to just take a wholesale look at what we're doing and sort of evaluate. Sharon offered the wonderful expression, stop, start, continue. I personally think of it like cleaning out my closet, keep, toss. We're gonna look at the work that we've been doing and decide what we want to continue and what we need to spend maybe our other attention on. So stay tuned to March and bring your ideas, all of you, in terms of how we get the word out on the street about the work that we're doing, because the whole point is for us to engage, and it's hard to do that if people don't know we exist. So thank you. That was a really, really timely comment, Bob. The only other question I had specifically about the town hall, Sharon, is when we send the survey, is it possible, what format will that go in? Will it just be will it be an email from the village, like from the council with the link to the survey? And will there be the option to put other things in that email? Like, for example, I think the subcommittee members had suggested we might want to send resources as a follow-up. Is that the kind of thing we could put in that email, or do we not have the capacity for that?
We have the capacity for that. It would be helpful to talk a bit about what it is that they would like to send us follow-ups, since it is coming from the village, just for us to be mindful of what we're communicating out. But to answer kind of the more mechanical question, Hillary, yes, the village would send out the survey, so it would come from a village email address.
Okay, and then to the group, and specifically to Bob and to Raphael, who unfortunately in this case have to speak for Anise. Do you have a sense of what I think that the documents, the resources that she was suggesting are sort of for further reading kind of things that would come directly from the presenters. So two of our presenters are from family service. Perhaps we get their follow-up reading suggestions and they go in the body of that email. Does that acceptable to all of you? And then it's sort of two questions. It's like, one, is that acceptable to all of you? Do you think that's a good idea? And then two, if it is, Sharon, maybe we speak offline in terms of how we vet that. Does that work? Okay.
Yes.
Thoughts, comments, concerns, suggestions?
To the presenters and find out if there is, as you said, further literature or links for people that want to follow up. But we're going to have to do that incredibly quickly. So that way, when the email goes out, that information is included or as part of the follow-up email. So yeah, we can send a message and see what they say. As of right now, I can tell you that we don't have anything like that, but a couple of emails, a couple of phone calls, and then we'll have a better idea in the next 48 hours if that's an option.
And I believe, I'm not 100%, but I'm like 85% certain that Anise has already asked the presenters to do that. So it should be a matter of getting your, sort of building consensus with the group that that's an acceptable plan. And then, as I said to Sharon, maybe we just talk offline about how to sort of look through those documents and make sure that they're acceptable to send from a village email address. Is that right?
Hillary, the only downside that I can think of is just the amount of material that might get in the way of getting that survey back. We're all like that. Oh my God, there's 6 attachments. I'll get to it later. It's kind of what happens, and then they never do. Other than that, of course, it's why wouldn't we want to give them good follow-up materials? Just when we connect it, it'll do, I think, take a little bit away from our response rate. But if that's still, whatever, I'm not, opposed to it. I just think that's something we should be aware of.
That sounds like a real thing.
I think it does. Just think how we all respond. So, Gary's got some.
I'm wondering if the only issue is, somebody, I think, Hillary, you just mentioned it, to review to see if the village is okay sending it out. If the village has to review something to decide it's okay to send out, you might get into some legal issues that would not want to get into one way or the other. We might also, again, just kind of thinking ahead, the people we have on this panel, I'm sure would be wonderful if we could push that material out to the world, as opposed to them having to go get it from different places, that the speakers could say, here are our websites, or the way to communicate with us if you choose to do so, and then let people go get that. Because future panels, depending upon who's on them and what the discussion topics are, may not always be stuff that you want to send as coming from this committee or the village, and that are, in a broad range of opinions being expressed, and we can't pick and choose. I think we run into real legal issues there. So
That's a very good point, Gary, and I'm glad you mentioned that. To underscore what you just said, maybe an alternative would be for the speakers to, at the conclusion of their presentation, they could mention, if you'd like to learn more, here are some resources. If they're using a slide deck, they could have that in their deck. Something like that could potentially be an alternative, or if there's content on their organization's website, they could use that too.
I think that's a really good suggestion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then it gets at Amy's concern as well, where for the most part, the follow-up is really just about the survey.
Yeah.
Gary's point is well taken.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much. Any other comments or concerns about the follow-up email resources survey? All right. In that case, the next item on our agenda is the second to last item on our agenda other than adjournment. And it is other business. Raphael and I will ask you guys if you have anything you want to raise, and then we have a few housekeeping comments that we'd like to make, and then we will roll out of here on time before 6:30, at 6:30 either. Other business from anyone in the mix?
So just one quick thing, Hillary. When we last met, I raised the issue of the speaker series. I was asked to kind of give that some consideration, and Amy and I did some preliminary sort of digging into it and concluded, as I mentioned before, that we need some direction, I think, from the broader group on whether we think it's a good idea to do a speaker series, and B, kind of what our objectives for it would be. I realize we're crunched for time tonight, but at some point, perhaps at the next meeting, I think we should devote some time to really giving that some consideration if it's something we want to do, either in the spring or summer of this year, because it'll require some advanced planning, of course.
Yeah, no, that's again a wonderful segue to our next meeting. I think we're more or less in an open, scares me a little to say this, but an open format for the next meeting. Our primary agenda item will be sort of discussing what's next. What do we want to continue, and what feels achievable, what's run its course, and any of that kind of stuff. So the homework really for all of you is to do some thinking about where you'd like this committee to go. And for those of you who are new, I've tried, Sakura, I'm so sorry that we haven't connected yet. You were sick, then I was sick, but we will get together before March 1st. But if we've had a chance to sit down otherwise, you likely had me ask you, what are your hopes and dreams for the committee? And there's no bad answers. So we need to sort of come to consensus about where we think our work can go, and then what is reasonable for us to achieve, given sort of those objectives. So I think the speaker series is most certainly anything that we've been doing or have been considering is up for discussion, and that will bring hopefully a little bit of organization to the conversation. So yes, we will absolutely address that in the March meeting, along with the town hall and getting to know the heart of Glencoe, and anything else that my subcommittee was working on the survey. So there's that piece.
And also, just so everybody knows, I think it was Vivek in one of the prior meetings had asked about in the next, if we continue with the speaker series or a town hall meeting, if it could then be in part of or a section of one village sponsored or co-sponsored events. Vivek, to answer that question, we do have a list of that, and as to what those events are, and we could use those events as a segue to as what Bob asked before, pointed out earlier, to give us more exposure. But also to piggyback on that and to maybe add, if again, scheduling permitting, a speaking series, the speaker series, or a town hall meeting around that same time period. So we do have those dates, we do have that up, and that'll be part of the next agenda. And also if start thinking amongst yourselves, not only about the speaker series, but if someone wants to volunteer and come up with the next plan, subject, and execution of the next town hall, because it's all based on volunteers. Because I don't think Hillary and I are going to choose anyone, because, well, we like everybody. We want you to like us too. So I'm not going to pick someone out of random.
I wouldn't go that far, but Raphael, because you're already sort of back in the mix, I am going to, I think, move us to our our little segment about housekeeping. The first, hopefully, is something that is clear to you. One of the things that Raphael and I feel really strongly about is just being really intentional about how we use our time and not abusing our time. So it's important that we stay on task. And I think these are weighty issues and they're things that we always want to give our full attention to, but sometimes the best way to do that is with structure. So I'm going to be a little bit of a taskmaster about the clock. We'll start at 5:30. We will do our very best to close at 6:30. And for now, we'll stick to our meeting once a month with the option to always add a special meeting if there's something that requires special attention. That's another thing that we can discuss more extensively in March. So pretty much everything moving forward in terms of our schedule, in terms of what we want to do, how we want to do it will be addressed during the March meeting. But the other thing I think is really important to say is that both Chief, you as well, but especially Sharon and Emily and all of the staff at the village, but especially Sharon and Emily, do a tremendous amount to keep us afloat. And it's just one of their very many responsibilities. And so it's really essential, I think, that we start to sort of funnel the communication for the committee through Raphael and I. Sharon and Emily are here to manage technical issues, logistical issues. If you have concerns about what it's legal to do, or who can I talk to, or how do I do this, those are questions for Sharon and Emily. Everything else should really go through Raphael and I. So from here on out, we're your points of contact. And the nice thing is there's two of us. So if you think that I'm really scary or awful, just call Raphael and he'll manage your concerns, or vice versa. There's nothing remotely scary about Raphael, but you want to jump in here?
No, for the first time we have co-chairs. So let's take advantage of it. Instead of one co-chair bearing the brunt of trying to manage communications, there's now two people here. To what Hillary was saying, the village has many responsibilities. Sharon and Emily and everyone else, they have more things than I could probably list in order, and more emails in a day than I probably receive in 3. So if there is concerns, if there's questions, if there's a question by a subcommittee, contact both of us, one of us, either or, it doesn't really matter. Also, for those subjects that we feel that require more attention, I would seriously push for a special meeting. That way, if those who don't have the time or have other commitments can't attend, we can still have it and the issues can be addressed. This committee is important for many reasons, but the true essence of it is it's within our title. It's community relations and inclusion. So while we're only meeting once a week to deal with larger subjects, I think it's incredibly important that we use the resources amongst ourselves and within our boundaries, and be more self-reliant on what we can get done versus always bombarding those at the village for tasks that should be addressed by ourselves. So if by all means, reach out to myself. I live on Jefferson. Shoot me an email, text, phone call, whatever. And if there's an issue that you want to discuss, I am not opposed to meeting in person as well. So I think that what we need to truly focus on being a cohesive group, but also being able to communicate with one another, not have any issues or quorums with it. And more importantly, let the village administration deal with village administration issues. So that's all I have to say on that issue.
I'm happy to send out contact information to the group since we do have new members. That way you all have each other's email addresses and you all have each other's phone numbers.
Thank you.
So that way you've got your most up-to-date contact. And if your contact information has changed recently-ish, just send me a quick note and we'll be sure we update it.
That would be great. Just like Raphael, I'm always open to text, call, email. If it's truly time sensitive, I suggest text. That's usually the best way to get in front of me. And I never, ever mind if you badger, because, you know, like you, I'm busy and sometimes things fall to the side, but I tried to stay on top of communications with you all. And at this point, it's really my primary job and Raphael's primary job to be here to help manage this group. So whatever you need, please give a shout. Amy, you had a comment, or I believe?
No, Sharon answered it. I just wanted updated contact. Yeah, so,
She's like a soothsayer.
yeah.
Anyone else? Comments, questions? Otherwise, I get to read. If there's no other business, I think we can ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
The motion.
Second?
I second.
Thank you, Bob. May I please have a roll call vote?
Member Scott,
Yes.
Guzman,
Yes.
Bjork,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Flanagan,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Mizell,
Yes.
Robbins,
Yes.
Rubin,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
And we
Thanks,
are,
all.
have a wonderful evening.
Thanks,
Okay.
everybody. Very well run. Thank
Oh,
you.
hey,
Yes.
hey, by the way, if anyone needs help shoveling, I have a 15-year-old kid that has a job. You don't have to pay him, but the physical exercise would be wonderful. So even if you don't need help, but you want to volunteer services, they'll be there with 2 shovels. I'm not helping. So I'm just saying, help. Okay,
Thank you.
Nice.